Welcome back. And today is Sunday. I'm right here with my amazing friend Rowee, who's next to me. I'm about to introduce her to you, but before I introduce her to you, thank you, Rowee, for having us in your amazing place. So, just a little bit background, my husband and I, with my our two kids, we came to Shepparton, which is quite far away from where we live in Melbourne, but it's a beautiful place because of our friends and Rowee. So Rowee is one of my friends. We knew each other from church, and we knew each other probably for 8 years or longer, maybe.
6 years, I guess.
Oh, 6.
2018, yes.
Okay. Yeah, she has better memory, obviously. But yeah, Rowee and John, they're amazing mentors for many people. They are doing ministries and they are very kind people. People just love them. That's what I say. Now I'm going to pass the mic to Rowee. So Rowee, can you please introduce yourself to the audience? Who you are, what you do, anything about you. Thank you.
That's an amazing introduction, Christy. First of all, it's always my pleasure having you. I'm always grateful for our friendship. It's been many years, but it feels like, we've known each other forever, like for ages. So that's right. My name's Rowee. My husband, John, and I have been in Australia for over 14 years now. We have 2 children. They're grown-ups. Karis is 23. He's in the city. He's working and studying at the same time. And also my daughter is 17. She's in year 10. So what I really love about our friendship, Christy, is we've got that sense of, the passion, the vision for other people. And that's something that I really treasure.
Wow, thank you, Rowee. As you can see that she's such a humble person. When she speaks, you just feel that sense of calmness, and I really love to hear from her, by the way. So Rowee, maybe you can share a little bit about your story. Why? Rowee is Filipino. I was born in China. Most of the Australian, I think they're all from everywhere in the world, which is our passion that we love the multinational culture thing, right? So Rowee, tell us a little bit about your story. Why did you choose Australia? What happened? Why did you come here? What's going on?
I wish we have more time to talk about our journey, but just the gist of it, we came from the Philippines. We moved to Australia back in 2010 for a research opportunity at Melbourne University. So it was a decision that my husband and I made, but it wasn't an easy start for us. My husband, he's got to work different odd jobs, from cleaning to working in the factory, working grocery stores, and eventually he became a qualified chef and a registered disability support worker. And then at the same time, I finished my degree at Melbourne University. I was also looking after the kids and eventually landing project management roles in various government projects across the state, which is just amazing. So the journey wasn't easy. There was that feeling of at the start, are we going to make it? Is Australia something that we can adopt to in terms of culture and language and beliefs? But, we took that big step to say Australia's going to be our home. And then eventually, so my kids, when they grew up, they, adopted the culture. We had an amazing church where we go to that actually became like family to us. And then the journey didn't stop there. So, after many years, especially at the time around COVID, we had that urge or interest to live in regional area. And so at the start, it was just like looking for an investment opportunity. But then eventually we just wanted, to live, we have that passion now to just to make a difference in a regional setting. We love country. We love being in a laid back lifestyle. And so we decided to build a house that we can share as a homestay. So a place where we can live and we can also rent out some of the rooms. And then actually that really worked for us because so last year we moved to Shepparton and then we met all of these amazing people who lived with us. They come here to Shepparton for work or, for internship or finishing their placements. And then we also found a local church where we connected with. And then at the same time, we had the kids are grown up now. We still have that opportunity to visit them every now and then at the city. And then this is now our life. We've embraced, living in the country. And I think one of the key lessons I've learned about that is that we are not designed to live in fear for the next step or for the next season of our lives. We move forward not out of, like 100% confidence. There's never such a thing. But we live out, despite of the fear, despite the setbacks and constraints, and moving forward, to live in love and power and sound mind. I think that's what I got also from one of the verses in the Bible. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Rowee. Thank you. Welcome back to this channel. And the Joyful Leader in You channel is really where we do a lot of interviews with people who are joyful leaders in their lives, and they're doing amazing things in impacting people, influencing people, empowering people. So Rowee definitely is the right guest for us. And thank you so much, Rowee, for your introduction about your journey and everything. Now I have more questions for you. Obviously, Rowee has no idea what I'm gonna ask,
idea.
which is the beauty of it, because we always embrace the authenticity. So Rowee, as you know, you are like, we both probably had a little bit similar childhood. Like, I'm not saying too much details right here, but it's really that we're born in a place we were not very wealthy. I'm talking about the money side, right? Like the environment and everything, we did not have much, right? So how could you, especially for those who are outside there, whether they're in the Philippines or they're in a place that they felt, oh, my future is like, they can't see their future. They just be distracted by everything around them right now. And tell us a little bit more about your journey. This morning you chatted with us, John, and you shared about how you got together and what John's dad said to him. I think that was pretty good. So can you share that story with all the audience, that you will encourage them to also keep believing? And I leave it with you.
Back when I was in early 20s, I was looking after my younger siblings, so we didn't grow up with our parents. So I had to be the breadwinner of the family. And at that time, I had a very, just a simple dream. I just was aspiring to have an opportunity to be able to provide for our daily needs, food, transportation, roof above our heads, a rental. And this is something I'm really grateful for, that I was able to get not just even one job, but multiple jobs all together to be able to support everyone. But then eventually, after gaining all of the experience and career opportunities, and also help from my own siblings, you realize that there is more out there, more in life that we can aspire for. And that's when I realized, after gaining a teaching roles and also consultancy roles, that I can move forward and develop my skills, because there is no such thing as like pure luck. There will always be a time when you need to really stretch your muscle, push yourself a little bit. And then the more you work hard to achieve your goal, the more that you get something out of it. And so I pursued a research scholarship in different countries, and that landed me here in Australia. And that affirmed, my belief that we're built or made for something bigger than what we can think or imagine.
Thank you, Rowee. I think, Rowee, you just mentioned about back then the environment wasn't good, but you got 3 jobs and more jobs and stuff. I think one of the very important things we need to really, like, I personally believe the personal development is very important. Why there are 24 hours for everyone, and we are all humans, right? People always say about luck and stuff. You're right, it's really not about luck. Sometimes, yes, the right timing is important, but if you're not ready when opportunity comes, you cannot grab it anyway. So I think something that I see Rowee from her journey, and also probably we have something very similar in that, is we continue learning, like we never stop learning, and we never stop growing our personal, whether it's knowledge or experience, and you keep going. You just said keep moving, keep learning, keep doing something. So maybe share a little bit about us, what's reflecting from your journey, that personal development, like the self-growth, it really plays a big role in your life. Do you want to share that?
Sure. Nothing instant, I think. When I look at people who are successful, of course, there's that thinking like, how good is for these people to achieve their goals. But at the same time, if you look at our own opportunities, I think it's more about us being in a position that one day I will reach my goal. One day I will be in this role or, this status in life. So we prepare, we go one step at a time to reach, whatever goals we have, and have that mentality that I'm going to be successful one day in life. How am I preparing for it? So you go out, like for myself, I joined many organizations, professional organizations where I build my network, where I develop my communication skills and grab speaking opportunities, or just being in, small groups where I can hone my skills, or I can connect and develop, my interpersonal relationship, even my language skills. So that really helped. And just having that mindset that, you're living one day at a time, but at the same time, looking forward to what's ahead.
Wow, so beautiful. Thank you, Rowee. And Rowee just touched base a few very important things that I really want to say as well. Number one thing is when you talk about the personal growth, you start from mindset. So you like the way how she expressed herself, and she said about she's open to commit to learning, commit to those opportunities. This is a mindset, because if you don't believe that you can't do it, most of people just say no. No, that's not for me, that's not for me, and they just step back, which I don't think that's happening to you, which is exactly why you've been, achieving things, because you're not afraid to try and to keep, even though you're not perfect at the beginning. You just mentioned about one step at a time. The first time you might be like, oh my gosh, I did really bad, right? And then you go up a little bit better, a little bit better. I think that's one thing really, really matters. Rowee, do you want to add anything on that?
Fear will always be there. You mentioned, we need to set aside, push aside our fear. But we need to also acknowledge that fear also strengthens our faith. If there is fear, we know that you have to work hard, you exert some effort, and the fear, just disappears at its own timing. We move forward, sometimes not out of fearlessness, but also because there is fear, there are constraints. It's sort of like when you're working out, you push so that your muscles are strengthened and ready to lift heavier weights. And so I think there's fear will not be an excuse. Rather, it's becoming a tool for us to move forward.
Pushing power. Wow, yeah, fear. You do things not because out of fear, but you do things even with fear, you're still going to do it.
True.
Because when you do it with fear, it's actually pushing you to be better. I think I agree with that, Rowee. And when it comes to about mindset, you're also talking about their communication skills. It is so important. As you know, I'm also a coach and mentor. I realized like people that I'm in touch, they have all different levels. Some people, they are amazing already at entrepreneurs, like successful CEOs. They are good at communication, but some of them like they can't even express themselves, right? I believe, Rowee, you can share a lot of stories because you always mentor people, in a small group, like you just mentioned, at church. In church, there are so many different kinds of people you have to deal with. But people is asset. And you also touched about network. And with network, if you don't have a network, there's no community, you're not growing. You're not actually going anywhere, because it's hard to learn just by reading a book. Like, oh, yeah, I learned. And then what? There's no chance for you to apply. Only when you get touch with people, they drive you crazy. But that's when you actually growing. Do you agree, Rowee?
That's right. And also being with the right kind of people, like-mindedness. I mean, there's no two people that are exactly the same, but you will find people that have the same, maybe probably season in their lives, or the same aspirations. We might have different levels of understanding of different things, but we will certainly have some common interests.
Yeah, so definitely choosing like-minded people is definitely it means a lot, like very important in our lives. In saying that, it reminds me about, because we both are female leaders. When we were younger, like when I was younger, I was way worried too much about how people look at me, and I was always worried about, oh, if I do this, will I make someone unhappy, that kind of thing. So in regarding this point, because there's so many people right now, they are watching, they can be still struggling with that point. So Rowee, what's your advice to them? Thank you.
You mentioned that word authenticity earlier, and I think that's a key ingredient. Like, as leaders, we expect ourselves or others expect us to be strong 100%. But the reality is we're not always 100% strong, or, we will have our weaknesses, our shortcomings. But if we remain true to ourselves, actually, that's something that, the people around us, the people we mentor, would actually see as relevant. They would could easily
connected.
relate.
More
Yeah.
connected.
That means, we can have that stronger bond and we can inspire others that we are leaders not because we are strong, but despite, our weaknesses, we're still able, to mentor other people and inspire and serve other people.
What a golden rule and amazing advice. And I agree with you, Rowee. And that's also why I feel like when we got together and it just feels like something connected very well. It's because like Rowee, for example, she's always willing to share what's her struggle and things like that. It doesn't mean when you share your struggle means that you're weak. Sometimes I would say the courage that you're willing to share with people is actually a strength. And that comes to the leadership skills. I think the more, especially nowadays, we got so many people, they're talking about what is true leadership and thought leadership. Thought leadership, number one thing I believe is really to allow the authenticity you just mentioned. And secondly, it's really also allowing that you're not just showing one side of you, say, "Hey, I'm strong, I'm good, I can do anything." Yes, we know that, right? It's important to stay positive. But there's also another side, you're willing to let them know as well, hey, we're all humans. We all have struggles. And it doesn't mean a leader doesn't have. Like we also talk about another time regarding the church leaders. Like they're all humans. It doesn't mean church leaders, they should be holy. Like everybody should be holy. They cannot make mistakes. It's impossible. So how can we I think that comes to the point we can next topic is about how can we show grace. I think grace is very, very amazing topic Roy's gonna share very soon. So how can we show grace and also support to leaders, and leaders can also use the same thing to show to their followers as well, Roy?
Last night, we had this really good, intimate one-on-one, and we spoke about the importance of just being present. We as leaders, we don't need a lot of encouragement, but when we see people present around us, it strengthens us, like that actually tells us, that there is something, a commitment that enables us to, keep doing what we are doing. And I don't think it applies to leaders also. Like we need to be present for our friends, we need to be present to our family. Not a lot of words are needed, to encourage each other. Just be there. That's most important.
We talk about grace, and Roy now talk about presence, and I think they both are equally important. Yeah, presence is definitely important, and grace is also very important. And when talking about grace, we cannot forget about very important person and also God that's in our lives, and it's definitely Jesus. Roy, maybe you can share with the audience, how did you get saved? Like, just long story short, I know next time I got another chance, we're gonna have a long recording, but share a little bit about journey. How did you start your relationship with God and everything? Thank you.
So my father was a Christian first, but a lot of challenges came in his path, and he left the faith. But eventually, like many years later, he was encouraged to go back in the faith because there was nothing else to do, like no other recourse. And so at that time, I didn't really understand, what it means to have faith and how it means to become a believer. But when there was that issue in the relationship of my parents and they started going their own paths, that's when I felt like I was on my own. Like it was like a time of uncertainty and just being alone. And I felt like I don't belong. That's when I understood grace. Grace is defined as undeserved favor. Like, who am I that God would, see me and love me and look at me? I am nothing. Like the experience that I had in my childhood with broken family, with siblings that I need to look out for, and a future that is so dark. I felt worthless, and yet I have this favor from God, and that started, my journey reading the Bible and meeting a lot of my Sunday school teachers were key to that, and really understanding that there is nothing that we can do to earn God's love. He loved us first, as the Bible says, while we were sinners, while we are in our weakness, in our sin, He loves us. And that's brought me to just living a life that pleases God first and foremost.
Thank you, Rowee. Yes, so Rowee just had a very short version about her story, obviously. But according to my understanding, it's also that her struggling back then, but then she did not give up with God's grace that she was saved. And then she started to chase, she started to dare to dream bigger and to get God, because God got your back. If God's with you, who can be against you, right? And just to let you know, whoever don't really know Rowee in person, that we all see that God has put His hand on this family and their marriage, their children, and the people around them. That, like, just an example, it's my personal opinion, okay? Like, I saw this house that they opened the doors for people from everyone in the world and everywhere in the world. If you are from anywhere in the world, if you come to Australia, if you will be coming close to the Shepton area, just search the, who is the best one. I believe it's you guys, because I saw all these beautiful messages that the housemates, they just left this message, a sweet message. It's like full of love and, relationships and friendships. It's just beautiful. Like, I even said to Rowee, I'm not like making things up. I said, it's like people are full of struggles, and then when they come to this house, they like wash clean and they just feel holy after this. So I really, really think, we're not just saying about you believe in Jesus or you believe in God or whatever. It's really also about how it reflects. Like, when you have faith, it's not just you say you have faith. People can see from their eyes, oh, this person is different, like this guy's different, and they will reflect on what they do and what's happening in their lives and stuff. Sometimes there's things we cannot control. The things we cannot control, we can only leave to God. But there are many things we can control. And Rowee, if you want to, before we finish this amazing interview, do you want to share a little bit more about that? Thank you.
It's such a pleasure, as you mentioned, to be able to make a difference in the lives of these people who come to our house, and find it, like a place like home. And I'm hoping that other people can experience the same. Like, I know it's just due to the housing shortage, house sharing is becoming really popular. And it's not an easy job. It's not for everyone, but I'm hoping I could inspire others how to actually create a safe and healthy share house. So who knows, maybe that could probably be my advocacy from here on.
Thank you so much, Rowee. And again, like Rowee just said, we love to empower, inspire more people. And that is exactly why we're doing the Joyful Leader in You, because we believe that each one of us has the power to empower and to inspire. So thank you so much, Rowee. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Aggie.
There will be a time when your vulnerability. Sorry.
Vulnerability.